Yo, I'm issuing an official apology to all black women
What?
on YouTube Live in a few minutes. Go to Mr. Let Go on YouTube. Be a part of this conversation. There are some things that I actually uncovered that we need to talk about. Some of the things that I uncovered garners an apology to black women.
All right, what is up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. And at first, I was gonna title this a little bit differently, but yeah, this is going into the Congratulations, You Played Yourself series, and this is of one Mr. Let Go. Now, for those of y'all that don't know, I did one of my famous play-by-plays where I basically do reaction and I give real-time responses to things that I see, and I have that on my Patreon. So look at the description below and basically check that out. So here's the deal. Mr. Let Go did a video with didn't really do a video with Kendra G. He basically went on to Kendra G's show. This was not formal. And this was not the first time. Apparently there was a little interaction in which he said he wanted to compliment her on her hair, her natural hair. He says he's a team natural hair guy. And for those of y'all who don't know, Mr. Let Go is a life coach. He is 45 years old. He has been married. He's currently divorced. But my point is he's lived life. And he focuses mainly on helping women. He will say providing a safe space for women to basically air out how they feel. I don't want to go as far as to say Derrick Jackson light, but I'm gonna put him and the roommates, they're more on the Derrick Jackson side of things. Like, they may be center left, we'll say, Kevin Samuels right, and then Derrick Jackson's left. The roommates are kind of in the middle. Mr. Let Go's kind of a little bit, they're still on that side. Also, for those of y'all that don't know, Obsidian actually did an interview with him. If I find the video, I'll share it in my community tab. And that was a little bit while ago. But he does this this appearance because it really wasn't an interview. It was basically he showed up on a show, just like how sometimes influencers will show up on Kevin Samuels' show. And there's a reason I'm mentioning Kevin Samuels, and if he's in the title, there's a reason why he's in the title. And what she proceeded to do, and she disrespected him in a way that was extremely uncalled for. Like, this is not the typical somebody says some crazy, flamboyant, crazy stuff on their platform, and people respond. No, she literally told him, "You are a bad life coach because you don't have your life together." Now, if you want to get my main responses as far as the play-by-play, go in my Patreon and you'll get my actual reaction to her saying that in real time. But what I will say is this: I'm actually not going to start to throw Kendra G under the bus. Not because I care about her feelings, but there is a bigger point to be had here other than roasting her, other than saying the obvious, and she, I believe, is 42 or 43 years old. I'm not going that route this time. I want to focus on Mr. Let Go. And the reason why I want to focus on Mr. Let Go is originally I was going to really roast Kendra G, really go off, do what I kind of do best. But I listened to Mr. Let Go's, I listened to an hour and a half at 2 times playback speed, I might add, because I got other stuff to do. And I listened to him talking about it. And I wanna let you know, Kendra G not only failed to do her research, she basically got her followers to provide her videos, basically reinforcing what they always wanted to believe about him, which is he's the enemy. What they also did, what she did, after doing what she did, she didn't think about it and say, wow, maybe I went off on him a little bit too much. She actually posted a video on YouTube basically saying no more clout chasers. She also posted a post, I believe it's on Facebook, but I never found this, but Mr. Let Go said it, a whole full page, long paragraphs, got to be multiple paragraphs, talking about if you listen to this, basically saying if you listen to this man, your life is going to suck. If you're a woman, listen to me. Basically trying to take sniper rifle shots, basically at him for just appearing. And the thing about it is, if you really felt that that's what he was trying to do, why did you have him on your show in the first place? Why didn't you just say how you felt before you brought him up here? Why did you feel the need to make a public spectacle? What? Because you want to make an example of other dudes coming on your, like, buttering you up just to get followers out of your show, when he really didn't even mention any of that? Also, you know, what's crazy about this when it comes to Kevin is there's been influencers that's gotten on Kevin's platform, and Kevin has never done this. And I'm not trying to make a direct comparison to Kevin. I only bring that up because Kendra G got up there and she was not treated this way. Basically, there was questions she was asked that she didn't want to answer. It wasn't even really personal questions. There were just questions about what women need to do. And the reality of the situation is she didn't have those answers because really she's just there to have a show. She's not really there to solve problems. And to be fair, that's not her show. Her show is basically giving people a platform to where they can say what they want in a man or want in a woman, and basically have an audience to get that, not necessarily to solve problems. But in my personal opinion, I think she's never let that go, and Mr. Let Go, no pun intended, but Mr. Let Go basically paid the penalty for that. Also, the reason why I don't really want to focus on Kendra on this, not to be confused with Crimson Cure, Kendra G, is because Mr. Let Go basically apologized for her disrespecting him. He literally said, and he said in his video, and just so you're clear, this is the 46 minute and 45 second of the video he did. Link will be in the description. He literally stated that this is a 45-year-old man that has been married and has children, right? Said, I didn't know that telling a woman that she looks beautiful without her with her natural hair is a problem. If I offended you, I apologize. Not to mention, he keeps on saying he wanted to come up there to pay homage to a woman. Now, I can see if you're talking to Shahrazad Ali, or if you're talking to, the Honorable Dr. Francis Quest Welsing, rest in peace, or maybe even an entertainer that's done some really good stuff in her career, I could see that. It's not about them being a woman. But my thing is, she's like a radio personality. Really, that's it. And even still, he said it like, you go by default. I just want to pay homage to women, and and this is how you would treat it. And even then, what you want to do as a 45-year-old man is play the confused card. You let her disrespect, and this is really the problem with black men in the community anyway. She disrespected. She tried to kill your career. That is literally, and she didn't just do it in the moment. Let me tell you something. I get cussed out by women all the time. Anybody in the black manosphere, shout out to Roger Report, will tell you there's been multiple situations, and I'm not even talking about like we have a conversation that gets heated. I'm talking about from jump. When I say something, not even loud or belligerent, not even call a woman out her name that they do not like, and for some reason we just get off on the wrong foot. 2 of these 3 women I'm actually really cool with. One of them, it is what it is, but it ain't on some like this type of stuff. We've had this other person, we've actually had conversations that we've agreed, and it is what it is, to the point where I thought I was talking about a different person. So I understand women having their moments and going on, but you're talking about a 24 minute SIT test. That is literally what that video is, and I have the link with Kendra's video below for you to check it out, and it's on her Instagram. But it was literally that, and he just smiled his way through, but it was literally painful to listen to the whole time. And then going to his 2-hour thing, He's basically playing the I'm confused card, like I said before, but he's also playing the, trying to figure out what happened. And he's trying to make it, why can't we get along? It's always men are attacking women, or why can't we get along? So the we is a way of not holding a woman, in this case, accountable for what she did. She didn't just have a moment. She literally embarrassed you, and she literally emasculated you for 24 minutes. You are not a dumb dude. I refuse to start saying you're stupid. You're not dumb. You knew what she was doing. You understood what she was doing, which is why you made the video about it, and the video ended up being 2 hours. And you trying to give her an out, saying, "Oh, I didn't know I offended you." Dude, you're not that naive. And that fake naivete is, quite frankly, a part of the problem. The problem is you're not looking at things for the reality of what they are on the ground today, and quite frankly, what's been going on for like 30 years. You want to look at things from a fictitious standpoint, and then any dudes like Obsidian, who, by the way, is not completely hardcore with it, who has a difference of opinion that's outside of the worldview you want to have, you sit there and you just charge them off on they just don't like women, or this, that, or the third, or they're just angry, or they're operating from a situation of pain, not that they're just calling it how they see it. And so you're not helping women when you do that. You're actually enabling them to not really see what's going on. And this is the one thing why it is something to be said about more women starting to make these make platforms. Women like Pink Book, women like Crimson Cure, and others really calling this out, because it makes it harder for dudes like you to do what you do, in the sense of create a situation where you're enabling women to do this. The reality is she emasculated you. She brutally emasculated you. That was not called for. She did it for 24 minutes. Then after the fact, in which what you said, after the fact, she then made a whole page. She didn't do all that with Kevin. She felt like Kevin embarrassed her to the point where she had to get on her platform calling him out on some press release. She didn't even do all of that to Kevin. And she felt like Kevin very much so did something to her. And it's my personal belief, and this is just my opinion, it's not substantiated on nothing in my own male intuition, is that she thought, she literally pretended that Mr. Let Go was Kevin Samuels, and just put a Kevin Samuels picture on his head and just went to town. What could I do if I could have that conversation again? Because the things up, she don't even know you enough to say you ain't a life coach. Like, saying you're not a life coach just because you're not currently married, that's very eerily similar to something that she said with Kevin. And if I can find a video, I'm gonna post a video in the description as well, is when she had that rebuttal to Kevin Samuels. That's very eerily similar to her saying that when it comes to being married. And quite frankly, she's doing what a lot of black women do, and that's a lot of black females that are 42, 43 years old, that has their prospects, and in the situation that she's in, she's doing what they do. So I'm not even going to comment on that. This is really about you. The reality of the situation is, man, you are enabling what the very thing that you say is the problem. You are not dumb. Do not pretend like you don't understand what's going on out here. Even it was another part of the video in which he said, I just don't understand why we can't get along. Who is telling black people or black women that black men are the enemy? I don't understand. Dude, you are not that naive, man. You're not. You're not. You're not. We're not even going to play the game where I start saying, well, you shouldn't be. I ain't even doing all of that. You're not that naive. And my thing to you is this. You're not going to change anything or help anything at a macro level, trying to play this game where we're pretending on the one hand it's the we, on the other hand it's men. Men are, you can, and this is what I would challenge Mr. Let Go and any of his followers. I would challenge Mr. Let Go and any of his followers to find anybody that has, let's say, at least 10,000 subscribers that did the same thing to a female that she did to you. and a female actually came to say, I'm not even gotta talk about the paying homage. I would challenge you to find that for me. And so and it was something that because he had a couple of guests that came on, a light skinned chick, a dark skinned chick, in which I agree more with what the dark skinned chick was saying towards the end. But one of the things that was stated was that, we have to stop like dragging each other on like in black media. Black men are not dragging women on media. Let's be clear about that. Black men are basically calling things the way they see it, and black women don't like it because black women have been socialized to not respect the opinion of a black man. Black men's opinions do not count for nothing. So for you saying anything is blasphemous and affront, just off tops, which is why he got the treatment by Kendra that he got. And that's another reason why he wants to lean being more apologetic about him being disrespected. Point blank, period. And this idea that black men are doing, there is no equivalent of black men doing what black women have done for decades. The TV shows, the talk shows, the reality shows, the music. Where black men, shout out to Mr. Research, where black men were making music, talk about how much they love black women. You got gangster rapping nights too, but you had the other side too that was very big. You got black women talking about, you had one song maybe every 2-3 years. Black brother Angie Stone, you wouldn't hear nothing nowhere near that for like 5-6 years. Literally. But you hear a whole bunch of black men doing me wrong and all this other stuff. And so the reality of the situation is, until the reason why the black community is, in my opinion, doomed is because black people just refuse to be absolutely honest. Because they understand, because it is Mr. Letgo sounds like, he says that he's not scared of black women. I would beg to disagree with that. I very much believe that Mr. Letgo is afraid of black women. Because you always want to create a situation where you're to blame. Always. And you want to be apologetic, like you talking to her like you was talking to God. Literally. And the way you was even pondering what happened, because if you listen to that video in the last 5 minutes, and I wish I could get the exact moment she said what she said, apologies for not having that, you can tell he was kind of hurt. Now, I got to tell you, he did a really good job holding frame. This is also a good video. To be fair to Mr. Letgo, if you want to do a video, if you want to do a masterclass in the how to hold frame, and you want to show an example of a dude holding frame, he did an excellent job at holding frame, and he did better than what most dudes would. Straight up. I'll give him that credit. But I could tell when she said what she said, because in my opinion, what she really wanted to do was she wanted to get you mad, and she wanted to get you to leave. That's really what she wanted to do. And she wasn't going to just lose her mind with it because it's her show. But you could tell she was doing it. And when none of that worked, towards the very end, she said what she said about you being a life coach, saying you should be a life coach, you have a life together. Then she turned around after the video, after she said, oh, bye, this is this. She immediately started talking about you once you came down. Then she made the post about you that was a paragraph long. Then she uploaded the video. So like you said, no, there is malice. Now, saying how she feels about men, that I believe that is true. I personally think that's directed at Kevin. But it is not about men. You're not all men. You are you. You are you. Just like black men aren't going to have a right to sit there and just take all whatever they think about black women and descend it down on one black woman. That's not fair, and that's not cool. Now, we can address what is said in the moment. Sure. I don't address people, I address points. She kind of addressed your points, but the reality is she made it extremely personal. Extremely personal. And I applaud the sister towards the end that said that. That's not okay. It's not. Because the thing that you don't seem to understand is a lot of people will see that and see that's what I'm talking about. The way she treated you, she said it herself. You are an attractive brother. You an attractive brother that I'm sure can get women. Yet she disrespected you the way she did. She emasculated you. It was beyond disrespect. So my question that I would ask that other people would look at, well, this is what they do, because black women are being looked at as a group, because that pattern of behavior is common, regardless of what we want to play it. The reputation is earned. People can agree or disagree. The stereotype is there. That's not debatable. They're like, well, if this is what they treat good-looking brothers, why should anybody else apply? Another point that the sister made on his show was that black women can talk about height, weight, whatever. Black women can have their preferences, be unapologetic about them, the end. Black men have their preferences, it's a problem. This is a guy that had very reasonable preferences. A woman is in shape. A woman, he said, if you have kids, I prefer that you were married. But left the door open to having kids, he said natural hair. Very reasonable. He had a reasonable answer as to why he wasn't in a relationship. He was working, he got out of his divorce, working on himself, working on getting his business on point. And to be fair, I've heard Glenn and Cameron say similar stuff. But none of that mattered, because that wasn't the point. And here's the thing, and I'm gonna end this video with this before we go into what your questions are. This is a little bit longer than what I normally have, but I really wanted to talk about this. This is not the first time you were on her show. You got on her show for a hot second. You said it, she said it. It was said in the beginning of the video, in which you talked about her hair. That means she had time to think about, not only did she have time to think about what you said, she also interacted with you in between that via DMs. So if she was quote unquote offended, that's something. She had a whole bunch of time to let you know she was offended. She didn't have to let you on her show. But instead, she chose to make the decision to let you on her show. She chose to bring you up, and she chose to emasculate you like that. Like, I would tell any of you all, go watch the video. Go watch the video, the whole video. It's on Kendra G's, it's in the description below, and it is on her channel. The Instagram is probably posted there too, in case you want to see it that way. And go take a spin at Mr. Let Go and listen to some of the stuff he said. I may have some timestamps as far as different things Mr. Let Go said, because 2 hours is 2 hours, and I know you all have better time that you all can spend on that. And this is for the men and the women. Because I want to see women, because I saw some of the comments, and I may post some of the comments that was in the Instagram. Some of them were saying, even dudes were saying, he's a clown, he's this, he's that, there's pathways to be a certified life coach, and this, that, and the third. And I know Kendra ain't asking other women these questions about, are they certified and all of that. Because most of these femininity coaches are not. They're selling thousands of $1,000 courses, and they're not certified on nothing. So apparently that's just something for the men. And opinions are opinions. Like, you ain't got to be no certified psychologist in order to be no life coach. We need to stop playing. You got people on television that are not certified like that. I don't think Steve Harvey is certified. But I'm going to leave it at this. What do you think? Do you think I'm being unreasonable with this? Do you think she emasculated him? Is this something you've seen Kendra G do before? Do you not know who Kendra G is? Are you familiar with Mr. Let Go? Are you familiar with his work? Do you have some of his greatest hits? Let me know what you think, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're definitely on the road to 5,000 subscribers. Shout out to the Black Manosphere. Shout out to some of the new folks coming up. And I'm definitely curious as to what you all think. Sign off below. This is Edward signing off. Peace.